It is Thursday on this Washington Football Live edition. Julie Donaldson, Santana Moss with you. Boy, it was raining cats and dogs throughout the night. So the field behind us is absolutely soaked. Santana, during your days, you would have still been out there, but because they have the bubble, that is where the team is today.
Yeah, we call it Washington football weather. So, for all those folks who are playing in bubbles now and practicing in bubbles, kudos to you.
I know that was a fight for a long time, especially when the snow is out there.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. You had to be tough. You had to play. You had to get it in. This also would have been the very first day that the media would have been able to come out, but they unfortunately are not allowed in the bubble because of COVID. We want to make sure that everybody, especially the team, is safe and that they are healthy. So as soon as the team is back on the field out here, the media will be out. I know they're excited to be able to see what is going on underneath head coach Ron Rivera. Also today, they will be wearing helmets. It is optional for players, but kind of a cool day to get those on.
Yeah, it's great to have finally put those helmets on. I've been looking around the whole league and the entire league. Not every team has their helmets on yet, but today is our day. So I'm pretty sure those guys are looking forward to it.
All right, well, so the helmets are out there, players are going on. Look, I had announced earlier, part of my broadcast team, and look, putting this together, there were some very difficult decisions. We announced D'Angelo Hall is going to be my analyst in the booth. I will also be in the booth, as this is a three-man booth. Bram Weinstein will be doing the play-by-play. One thing that was really important to me, Santana, when I was deciding and making this decision, is that I wanted somebody who could relate to the fans, who grew up understanding all of that. I think that's important.
It's definitely important. Then it's all about that communication level also. You want someone in there that you can, rest assured and know that he's there to do the right thing and he's going to do a job, great job at what he does. And, Weinstein, he's been one of those guys that I've always loved speaking to. During my playing years, this guy's been A1. So I'm glad to hear that he's part of the team.
He's been around the organization for quite a while, grew up in the area as well, went to Springbrook High School, and he worked at ESPN for a good 7 years. He has done plenty of play-by-play. This is going to be a new challenge for all of us, though, in the booth. That is what happens when you do something new, when you try to change things up. We're not going to totally reinvent everything, but we are going to add a lot of cool elements that we hope that you're going to like, because with fans not in the stands, you're going to want to get information. You're going to want to get every single play that is happening. You're going to know behind the scenes, and that is what we are charged to do as well. Of course, Santana is going to be a big part of everything.
Yes.
Maybe there's a few more announcements to come with him throughout this. But it is time now for the warm-up, and for that, I continue to build out this crew, and I'm so excited to introduce you. Well, he really needs no introduction, does he?
Not at all.
Let's just go straight to it. Coming to my crew as well on game day is London Fletcher. Told you I have been hard at work putting together my crew. I am so excited to say London Fletcher is joining the team. He's going to be doing our post-game show throughout the entire season. So just another reason for you to be locked in through us, because we know you can't be at the games. We're going to bring the games to you. London, welcome. Glad to have you.
Julie, you don't know how excited I am to be a part of the team. Joining the post-game show. I'm excited about everything that's happening in DC.
Yeah, well, look, you've got a new head coach coming in here. By the way, played linebacker. The defensive coordinator, former head coach, by the way, played linebacker. And you, without your career, I was looking this up. I mean, look, they call you the Iron Man for a very good reason, because throughout your entire career, you played all 16 games, every single season. How in the world does that happen?
Well, genetics first and foremost.
Okay, fair enough.
God gave me some good genetics.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yes. Dumb tough. There were times where, where it's like, okay, should I play? But I really just love playing the game of football. I sat out a game in high school once because of an injury, and I was miserable on the sideline. And I said to myself, if whatever I can do to never have to miss a game ever again, that's what I'm going to do. The training staff was great, and I really just being committed to my teammates. I wanted to be there for them and know that they can count on me every game.
That they could, because you started every single game for Washington as well, 4 straight Pro Bowls. You were in the Ring of Fame, by the way. Congratulations. It was great to have you on the show for that this last season. But now joining us over here on this side, first off, let's kind of get a little bit into it, evaluating the linebacking room, because it's been a place that's, needed a little bit of growth. When you look at it, how do you feel?
I really like the addition of Thomas Davis, a veteran player. I know Thomas well. I'm down here in Charlotte. Thomas actually lives only about 5 minutes away from me. He's a veteran player, but he's still productive. Even though he was in with the Chargers last year, after spending so many years in Carolina, He was highly productive, still can run. He knows Ron Rivera's system, which is key. Ron knows what he's like, what he's going to be like in that locker room and in that linebacker meeting room. I'm excited to see what Reuben Foster looks like. He's coming back off of injuries. He was a first-round draft pick, tremendously talented player. If he can return to form pre-injury, I think they have a makings of being a really, really good linebacking core. So I'm excited to see what that group will look like.
Yeah, they also have Sean Deion Hamilton, Cole Holcomb, a lot of players coming here, John Bostic coming back. So there's a lot of room for competition for that. When you kind of look back at the way you played the game, you were the leader of the team, right? You're the leader of the defense. Is that something that's just kind of natural to the linebacker position, or is it something that was just natural to you? How did it get to where you had that voice that everybody listened to?
Well, it's necessary for the linebacking core. The way I look at it, when you look at the linebackers, they're the ones that kind of are the lifeblood of the defense. They have to get the D-line set up and lined up correctly. They have to talk to the safeties and the rest of the secondary. But as a middle linebacker, especially, you're the ones who are giving the defensive call to the entire group. So they're looking to you first and foremost. You have to be commanding. You have to be loud. You have to hold everybody accountable, hold yourself accountable. I took a great deal of pride in being a leader of my unit and also being a leader of that team at playing the linebacker position. So it is a necessary responsibility of a linebacker to be a leader.
Part of that for you as well is, if we're to look at this roster now, you played with Ryan Kerrigan as he now enters, and he's just a sack and a half away from breaking the franchise record and leading with that, which we know he's going to get. He says he wants to get, but you really helped lead him along his way. And he was Mr. Consistency as well. He had 139 games before he unfortunately missed one. You didn't miss any. What was it, do you think, that you had on an impact to kind of pass on to him, and who do you think he can pass that on to?
One thing about Ryan, when he first came into the building, he was extremely professional. He came in, sat at the front of the class, took great meeting notes. His work ethic was second to none. So a lot of the stuff he already had coming in. I tried to, just pass on my wisdom to him as far as things that I saw could help him, developing his game, whether it's just, technique here or there, helping him with the call, formations, things like that. I think what Ryan did also was kind of observe the way I went about my work on a day in and day out basis. Put my head down and just really worked and a lot of film study, things like that, to make sure I was on top of my game and to put myself in the best position. And then how I took care of my body in order to be able to not miss a game during my entire NFL career. I was sad for Ryan when his streak came to an end. I was looking when I retired. I was like, I don't think anybody would be able to kind of get my record. And then I saw Ryan and knowing how he goes about his work on a day in and day out basis. I was like, man, Ryan might be a guy who can take my record as far as consecutive starts, consecutive game plays for linebackers. So I was actually, sad for him that his streak came to an end.
Yeah, I think he was as well. But he said, look, it's over. All I can do now is go back out there and, again, get that sack and a half. Maybe he gets it in week 1 against the Eagles, puts it behind him, and just has the addition of Chase Young and Montez Sweat really emerging, has the opportunity to, really get back up there and get after that quarterback again. It's really a strength and excitement when you look at this team. We talk about the impact you had on defense, though. So I do a lot of the shows with Santana Moss, and right off the bat, he told us that he changed the way he approached the game because of you. Were you aware that the impact you're having on even guys on the other side of the ball?
It's no, I wasn't. It's as you're kind of in the moment and doing your job, you're just trying to be accountable, be professional. A lot of times with leadership, you have to do more than talk. So I was just going about my business, not realizing that guys on the offensive side of the ball was watching me as well. And Santana, that's a great compliment coming from him, because I looked at Santana as a pro's pro, and the way he went about his daily work. You know, just most wide receivers are divas, prima donnas, so to speak. He was not that at all. Just a little bit. You know, he was not that at all. You know, he put his head down and he worked. So for him to say that I impacted the way he prepared, that's a great compliment.
All right, so D'Angelo Hall, I announced that he's going to be joining me in the booth on game day. Tell me a little bit more about what I'm getting, and to the fans about what they're going to get with him joining us.
You know, D is an extremely bright football player. He knows the game. You know, I've seen him as a commentator doing this analyst work for NFL Network. D'Angelo's going to be great in the booth. You know, playing in the secondary, playing cornerback, playing safety. You kind of see everything from that side of the ball. You study quarterbacks. You understand what they're looking for. You understand the passing game. So his knowledge and the way he'll be able to analyze the game is going to be greatly appreciated. You know, I want to hear D in the booth, man. That's going to be great. That's another lit. Julie, you're killing it with your additions to the team.
I'm so excited. I've been having so much fun doing this, and as it goes along, I've got a couple extra moves up my sleeve. So it's going to be great. We're going to have a great season. Again, the fans won't be able to be in the stands for that, and we know that's kind of disheartening. But look, with you on board, and we're going to be streaming all of this as well, not just on radio. It's going to be streamed all over on our multi-platforms. That's the way we want to reach all the fans. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. Glad to have you. Thanks for coming on, and can't wait to get to work with you.
Neither can I. I'm happy to be a part of the team again.
All right, linebacker, set the tone.
Linebacker, set the tempo.
Tempo. There we go. See, you got to school me up, hold me accountable. All right, thanks.
No. You were great. It's linebacker set the tone. Linebacker set the tempo.
There we go. Okay, good.
You're good. You were perfect.
Teammates, teamwork. Very honored that London said yes. Look, he is so pumped up about this. We spent a good bit of time talking on the phone just about the changes that are coming. And look, change is hard. A lot of people are uncomfortable with change because you don't know exactly what to expect. Head coach Ron Rivera is leading the charge, and we are all getting behind him, hoping that we can bring the best product and that there's more than just 3 wins to celebrate and talk about, Tana.
You're right, and I'm glad to hear that London's a part of the team also, a leader amongst leaders. It was great playing alongside of him. It's funny, I just think about those memories. We was like, you know, we all gathered around him when he spoke, you know, like our father was speaking to us.
I have been hard at work putting together.
Attention, so it's great to have him aboard.
All right, glad to have him. There are still more moves to be made. Don't worry, folks. I know we're trying to move as fast as we can to put everything together, but promise you, we're putting together a team that we think you're really going to enjoy going forward. All right, we are up and running, all warmed up on the show. When we come back, we are going to be talking about the X's. The spotlight is on Matt Ioannidis. He had a career-high 8.5 sacks last season. Can that potentially go up this year? Stick around on Washington Football Live.
This summer, get back in the driver's seat. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Like the versatile HR-V or the fun-to-drive CR-V. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the CR-V at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
It is the X's presented by Pepsi as we take a little bit of a deeper dive into the defense this season. Expected to be the strength of the team, especially that D-line, Santana.
Yes.
Part of that last season is we talk a lot about the edge rushers. We talk about the Chase Young, how he's going to help Montez Sweat and Ryan Kerrigan. But also I think you cannot look past the interior guys as well. And one that has really shined in the past few years is Matt Ioannidis. So this is our player spotlight on him as we look forward to the 2020 season. Look, he had a career high 8.5 sacks. Taking a look at kind of where he is going into the 5th year of his contract, he got paid last year, and deservedly so. I think, the work he put out there, the team was able to say, wait, we want to make sure we lock him up and keep him. Yes, you got to keep those guys.
Let's do it soon, because this guy could just only, progress and capitalize on some of those numbers. I mean, let's be honest, Matt's one of those guys. He played along a side of 4 first-round picks, and he was the most disruptive of them all. So it's great to see a guy that's been selected 5th round, I believe. He was in 5th round in 2016 draft, and kind of outshine those guys alongside of him who was first-rounders.
It kind of goes to show that, look, there's all the attention on the first rounders, and there are a lot of first rounders on this defensive line and that front 7 there. He didn't let that stop him from being one of the most impactful players as well. And his numbers, if you take a look at the sacks he had the season before, well, they doubled in 2019. So he was very able to use that strength and his speed, his agility, his athletic ability to be able to get to the quarterback. The one thing, though, and we're going to have a good little talk with him on this, Santana, is against NFC East quarterbacks, he doesn't have any sacks. So we gotta be able to figure that one out.
He's gonna put that to rest this year. We're gonna go ahead and put that out there now. You got to speak into existence. So we speaking it now for you, Matt. He's gonna put that to a stop come week 1.
How much will things open up for him, do you believe, because they are switching to the 4-3, because they have those guys on the edge?
I think one of the things about the 4-3 defense, it allows those guys in the interior to now have those one-on-one matchups. That 3-4, those guys have to deal with double teams and all that sorts of stuff. And now he's going to honestly be able to play one-on-one with a guy. And we talk about his strength. Madden also notices his strength. They have him as the 2nd strongest interior guy behind the one and only, Aaron Donald. So just knowing that this guy's strength is his strength, it's going to be interesting to see how those guys match up and see he might be getting those double teams that a lot of those other guys are called upon.
He did draw that a good bit last season as well, even because, look, once you start racking up those sacks, they start paying attention to you and stopping. He will have his opportunities to be able to get out there to use his speed, and if he goes on track to how things are going, even in tackles, they doubled. Look, he was a Pro Bowl alternate this season with 42 tackles in 19. His career is 84, so that doubled over the last year as well. And also tackles for loss, that doubled as well. So can you keep that rate up, though? Man, is doubling a little bit too high of an expectation?
He's progressively showing us that he can get better, so I won't bet against him. I honestly believe so. And with this, new addition on the outside in Chase Young, the additions with the coaching staff, I think his game will only rise.
And here's something cool. 2nd in draft class in sacks behind Chris Jones, who's with the Chiefs. He was 37th overall. Ioannidis basically was a steal for this team and getting out a $21 million extension. So he got paid for this as well. But Ioannidis was also talked about what they expect for the success of the defensive line heading into the season.
I've always had confidence in myself and believed in myself. I definitely got off to a rocky start, but I'm happy with where my career has taken me, my path has taken me. I want to thank God first and foremost, and then I've obviously had some coaches that have been instrumental in my development.
So personally, he wants to be able to do more. Is a lot of that Santana going in here because no one's going to sit there and bet against him, say that he can't, especially the way that this defense goes and the expectations for them. Is it just self-confidence? Is it just something that kind of comes as you start to grow in the NFL, or is it just part of also the defensive scheme that you're put in?
I think both play a hand in it. Personally, and just from my experience alone, you can't always depend on the scheme. You have to really go out there and achieve above what you really set out to do. So he's shown that regardless of the scheme, because if you think about it, the last few years we haven't really been, and he hasn't been put in great situations when it comes to just the scheme of things, but he's went out there and been productive. And also you can pay a tribute to that is just the guys he has around him. Those guys were big name guys that I'm pretty sure that every ball club that they face they went out their way to make sure they stopped those guys. And he said, well, okay, if you're not going to, pay attention to me, then I'm going to give you a reason to do so. So he went out there and played, the way you're supposed to play. You come in here and make a name for yourself.
Do the vets, kind of help along in that progression as well?
They do. When you have a guy like Kerrigan, when you have a guy like, Jonathan Allen, who came in, I believe they came in together. But when you have those guys around you, those guys can play a big role in, how your production is. And I think that, you lean on those guys to make sure that you're not the weak link.
When asked a lot, John Allen, being from Alabama, about all the other guys, Deron Payne and all those that were in the locker room with him, he always say, quick, like, it's not just an Alabama thing, which of course they like, they have that pride in their school, but he always says, don't forget about Matt Ioannidis. Yes. He is just as much a part of this defensive line, even though he did not go to Alabama. But he's very quick to just sing his praises as well, because they do work together as a unit, and you ask anybody in that defensive line, they understand that the team's success, that their success as a unit is based basically on that. Time for some bold predictions. This is the burgundy and bold predictions for it. So Ioannidis last season had 8.5 sacks. That was a career high for him. We've already told you that those numbers have doubled every year. Can they double, though, this upcoming year? What would be your bold prediction for Ioannidis in 2020?
My bold prediction, and I'm going to say bold. I'm going to go as bold as saying he'll be a Pro Bowler this year. I think he was an alternate last year. And when you start getting to those alternate slots and nationally people are paying attention and your peers are paying attention, if you can just be some of what you were last year, the previous year, this year, he's going to be that guy. So I say he's a Pro Bowler this year.
Neither of us said he will be going any less than the sack number. In fact, I think you can expect those numbers to probably go up, because if you're an offense and you're an offensive line, like, who do you block? They're all coming. You have to basically pay attention to every single guy on that front. So 8.5, we're going to say, is basically going to be the minimum that he will be getting this season. I think he could easily get into double digits for that. Again, though, he does not have a sack on an NFC East quarterback. So who is going to be the first quarterback within the division that he has the opportunity to take down?
Well, if Wentz doesn't go down early in the game, he's going to be the guy that's going to take him down. So I see Ioannidis getting Wentz come week 1. It's about that time.
You would hope that. I think Wentz, look, he likes to use his feet. He can scramble. You have to get out there. If you can pressure him, he has the ability to throw a whole bunch of interceptions as well. But you have a lot of guys gunning for him in week 1. I actually said Daniel Jones. I think he's going to be the first quarterback he takes down. But by saying that, I realize that doesn't happen until you get to week 6. But the Eagles, look, they have Jason Peters on the inside as he moves. So I think that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. And of course, you talk about the offensive line for the Cowboys. It's been one of the best in the league year in and year out.
When you look at the things, you can pick any guy out there and to say that who's going to stick, who's going to cover, who's going to block who. But when you look at our guys alone, we have so many guys you can choose from. So they're going to have to pay attention to those outside guys, and that's why I believe that Ioannidis is only going to get better.
Yeah, is there enough to go around? They say as long as they're getting to the quarterback, who cares how it goes around? So that is the spotlight on Matt Ioannidis. Excited for things to come for him as he does enter his 5th season. When we come back here, though, on Washington Football Live, we're going to talk about the O's, and we're putting the spotlight on Antonio Gandy-Golden, AGG. He perhaps is one of the most unique players on this roster coming in as a rookie, but can he be the number 2 wide receiver?
This summer, it's time to get back outdoors. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Enjoy the sunshine in the family-friendly Pilot or the rugged Passport. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the Pilot at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
Miracles. What we deliver by delivering.
Washington Football Live. Now it is time to go to the O's, presented by FedEx. And as we were doing our player spotlights, we had to feature one of the most interesting men on the roster. It's kind of like the most interesting man alive here on the roster. And that is Antonio Gandy-Golden. He is brought in to have an impact on the offense, but Santana, you talk about a lot of his traits off. Well, he's picking up boarding. He does a Rubik's Cube in less than a minute. He plays the guitar. He has a high IQ. He loves puzzles. He's in drawing. He's picking up golf. I mean, when you talk about a receiver, like, where if he was joining your wide receiving room, what would you think about all these extracurricular things he has?
I would ask him why he's so bored.
Where are you getting all that time?
Is football not enough? I mean, but it's extraordinary to hear that, you know, this guy can do so many things. And when you watch him play, when you watch some of the highlights from his college days, you know, he's extraordinary between those white lines also. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the guy brings to the team.
All right, so it's fun to talk about all of that. I don't know I've never solved a Rubik's Cube. If anything, I'd have to peel off the colors and redo it. It would drive me nuts. He's somebody that wants to always try and do something. He likes being challenged. He likes learning new things. And now he's learning a new offense underneath Scott Turner. Turner was saying that they have had some really good practices. Like right now, they're doing walkthroughs. The helmets are just going on today. Well, you won't really be able to know what the players can do until the pads go on. That's not until the 18th. But he said guys are starting to really pick it up, and they're being able to do up-tempo. They're not having to think as much, and that is what you want to pick this up. AGG comes in here. He is a tall body. He is a physical body. If you talk about some of his strengths, he's dynamic. They're expecting him to really fight for that, especially in the red zone. He can be a quarterback's best friend.
Yeah, I think that's one of the bright sides about him. You know, folks want to know right now, can he be that number 2 guy? I'm not sure, and I won't, speak too soon on him, but I think with his abilities alone, he's going to be one of those targets that we can lean on in the red zone. And I just saw him, time after time, his last 2 seasons over there in Liberty. This guy has great hands, strong hands, and he fought for those tough catches every time. So you can assure that these guys who's coaching him saw that also.
He said because he is from a smaller school, he's excited to be able to finally put on display the skills that he has, because there wasn't a lot of attention on him being at Liberty there. But they like that he has the body control and all this. As a rookie coming in, what can you expect out of a young receiver?
I think one of his strengths is his upside. He's strong-handed, great catch radius. He's tall. His athletic ability is second to none. But when you're a rookie, you're still a rookie. And until he go out there and he can show that he can play fast and play alongside of those guys who has those years on him, then you have to look at him as a rookie. He has time to, knowing that he has so many other extracurricular things that he likes to participate in, that leads us to knowing that he's pretty smart. So I'm hoping that he can catch on fast and be that guy and take advantage of his opportunity. The door is wide open for that second guy. So I hope he knows that, and I hope he understands that he has the opportunity to be that dude.
I'm not sure if it really this season, I think we want to be able to say who's going to be the number 2 guy. But I think if we're to be real, we're going to have to be able to flat out say, look, can he be the number 2 guy? Yes, I believe he can. You said not quite yet, but I really think if you really want to just be honest about what it's going to be, I think it's going to be who gets the most snap counts. I don't know that they're going to have a clear number 2 heading into the season, which is why we keep bringing the question up, though.
They have a bunch of guys, and realistically, Coach said he cares less because there's so many guys going to field at once nowadays. You have those 3 receiver packages. I'm not sure if you have any 4 receiver packages and how much they play with those guys. But it really doesn't matter who's number 2 because they all going to get opportunities.
They will. What about wide receiver coach Jim Hostler? He was actually one of your coaches as well. Here's what he has to say about the new young one, AGG.
He's got range. He's long. He's got some ball skills. He plays faster than his time. I know everybody looks at a time from a 40-yard dash, but we pay no attention to that. It's all about how fast you get down the field. He's side by side with a guy who runs a 4.3 something or a 4.4 something, and if he's at 15 yards running the route at the same speed, it doesn't matter what he was timed in, and that's how he plays. He's got stride length. He can play with people around him. He can play fast with bodies around him because he's strong. That's what we liked when he was coming out. How he fits into our world, we like to throw the ball down the field, and the bigger you are, the farther down the field you are, is a little easier target for the quarterback to throw the ball to. And bigger players have had success in this system in the past, down the field, big targets. You can throw the ball up and they can go get it.
Santana, we like the sexy numbers. You like to be able to rack up the sacks, as we talk for a lot of guys. And when it comes to receivers, you like to be able to pay attention to the 40 time and put so much weight on how quick they may or may not be. One of the knocks is that maybe he doesn't have that top speed, but to hear coach say that he plays faster than that, translate that to what it actually means for what he's saying.
Well, basically he's saying that, you look at a lot of these times and we all are glamored by, the guy who can run the fastest. But it's all about what you do between those white lines. You can be fast, and if you can't go out there and play with that same speed between those white lines and throughout the plays, then it benefits that team at all. It doesn't benefit that team. So what coach is saying is that, hey, you look at that 4.6 speed and you say, okay, I'm going to look at a 4.6 guy, but he comes out here and he's running alongside of guys who run 4.3s and 4.4s. So that raised their eyebrows and say, well, hey, this guy plays fast even when he's out there playing. It's not just the 40 time. 40 times sometimes overshadow what you really can do. And I think that he's shown that just because he ran a 4.6 doesn't mean he plays that way.
So how does he kind of react that?
Well, you look at it like this. I was a guy that came out and I had a 4.2 40 that was rounded off to a 4.3. But if you watch me play the game, I played with that kind of speed, in and out. Are you okay?
Sure. I need a beverage here.
Some of these guys doesn't live up to those 40 times. You have a lot of guys that come out with these fast times, and when it comes to the hike of that ball, it doesn't show up on film. So he's telling you that this guy can really play faster than what his 40 time led you to believe.
You're putting me in tears here, Santana, talking about it. Not sure what happened there, but hey, look. They're expecting and anticipating him to have a big impact in this offense. But when you look at the wide receiver group as a whole, we keep saying Terry McLaurin and then who? Terry McLaurin and then who? How nerve-wracking is that if you're just sit there on the team and you say, okay, we've got one legit playmaker and we have other guys that we're hoping can make plays, but we're not sure exactly how they fit in. Is there a way that you can just, as Coach was saying, it's just going to be snap counts. They're going to rotate it a lot. Is there a way that you can get a lot of production when you don't have a number 2 clear player?
Well, I don't think you really need one. I think the wide receiver core will go as well as the quarterback position. And one of the things about this group, these guys are going to be ready. Jim is a great coach. He coached me my last year in New York, and I understand this coaching staff alone is going to make sure that they get the best out of you. But I do believe this wide receiver core and this group will go as far as the quarterback. So if Haskins is on, they're going to be on, and that's how it goes. I've been a part of many teams, and when it comes down to it, that quarterback really makes the noise, and the receivers have to follow.
Terry McLaurin was saying that after working out, and Steven Sims Jr. did, and Kelvin Harmon, unfortunately, he's undergoing knee repair surgery. He's going to miss the season, but the guys were really hoping he was going to compete with AGG, or AGG would compete with him for that spot, which does open up a little bit more. But they were saying that the way the ball was coming out of Haskins' hands, the way that it was falling in the hands, Terry McLaurin was saying it was different this year. So there is certainly an amount of growth that you're going to get from him. And he has that cannon of an arm as well. You just got to make sure that it has the accuracy on point. Can you tell quickly if a quarterback has changed a way that he's thrown or that the ball is coming out?
No question. I mean, I've been a part of quarterbacks. I've been a part of different groups of quarterbacks where, let's say, for instance, Donovan McNabb. He was a veteran, and he knew he had a cannon for an arm. His ball was like catching a brick at times. It came just that hard. And it came fast. And Donovan would see how you react to the ball, and when you're coming back to the huddle, he would tell you, I'm going to take a little off it. And the next play, you would get a different kind of ball. So normally you get the vets that notice, and because I played with some young guys, and they just didn't care. It was one in particular, didn't care. He's going to throw the ball hard, and it's going to come to you 2 yards away from you. It's coming hard. So I love to see that a quarterback knows that he can take a little off in certain situations, and to hear that from those guys now, that's letting you know the maturity of Haskins. He already understands that in order for me to be better, I have to give these guys better opportunities.
All right, so you're not going to name that rookie quarterback. That's fine. we won't put you on the spot for that. We're just going to go through the film.
I never do.
That would happen in the past.
Yeah.
When we come back here, we are going to bring in Logan Campbell, the third member of our team, for what is trending. And look, Terry McLaurin is a part of this. He's allergic to fish. So why is he wanting to know more about fish? Stay with us.
It's interesting.
A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
This summer, get back in the driver's seat. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Like the versatile HR-V or the fun-to-drive CR-V. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the CR-V at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
We're back on Washington Football Live. It is time for What is Trending, because we are all about the social and bringing you into the conversation. Logan Campbell will be joining us for this. It is presented by Bank of America. Logan, welcome.
Thanks, Julie. Well, Professional Football Focus came out with their annual top 25 position rankings heading into the new season, and 2 of the Washington football players made the cut. Julie and Santana, are you guys ready to find out who those players are?
Tell me who.
Let's go.
All right, coming in at 9th for interior offensive lineman is none other than Brandon Sheriff. This past season, he was in the top 5 guards for pressure rate allowed at 2.7%. Now, since he was drafted in 2015, he's been one of the top 5 guards in the league consistently, and this really blew me out of the water. Over the past 5 seasons, Sheriff has been ranked in at least the 90th percentile in run blocking on both zone and gap runs.
You know what that means? Pay the man. Keep him here. Look, he's tagged. Coach wants to be very cautious of how he spends his money, but he says the more that he sees Sheriff, he's around him, he's going to say, okay, we got to respect him, keep him around. He wants to stay here. He wants to retire here.
Yeah, it's definitely great to hear those numbers, just knowing that last year wasn't one of his best outings. You know, I mean, he was plagued with little injuries here and there, and to see that he's still getting recognized for what he can do, that's great to hear.
And even though it wasn't one of his best outings, he still made the Pro Bowl.
No doubt.
So one of his off seasons, he still makes the Pro Bowl. That is how much we respect him in this area. All right, Logan.
All right, moving on to the wide receivers. You guys already know where I'm going here. Terry McLaurin was placed at number 13th heading into the season. Now, after a standout rookie season, he earned an 86.5 receiving grade. Now, keep in mind, that was 6th amongst all wide receivers in the NFL, and this is the 2nd highest rating that PFF has ever given a rookie. So if that's not already impressive enough, the reason why he earned this position at number 13th is because he averaged 2.05 yards per running route last season. And speaking of Terry McLaurin, did you guys know that he likes to fish?
No, I mean, look, I've seen it on Insta where he's starting to ask people where can he go fishing.
Right. No, so if you guys know where the fishing spots are in the area, help the man out. He really wants to get out there, and he said that he wants to meet up with maybe some professional bass fishers up in the DC area. But on the fishing, I find it really weird that he likes to do that because he is allergic to seafood. And he gets prone to seasickness, so that's already interesting. But he said that this is the ultimate stress reliever, and it really distracts him from the game. So during training in Indianapolis, after practice, he would head on out to the local fishing spots, and he noticed one big comparison between football and fishing, and that is patience. He said he sat out there all day, and sometimes he never knew if he was going to get a bite or not. And in football, he would practice and practice and practice and work for that opportunity, but you never know if it's going to come or not. And if an opportunity does come, it might not always be the one that you are expecting. Julie and Santana, do you guys do fishing? I'm really bad at it, but it's something I really wish I was good at.
I get bored with fishing because of just what he's saying, is you never know when the fish is going to bite. I'd rather just read a book, but I do like being on the water.
Yeah, well, I grew up on a lake, so I'm pretty familiar with fishing, and now that I'm in my upper, those years where you don't have to really do it, I'm not
Upper
trying to
years.
go do it. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to share my age.
I can understand it being relaxing, especially because the game of football is so fast, so hard, so aggressive. Is there something calming in just casting the line and reeling it in, and casting the line and reeling it in?
But he said the truth though. I mean, he had to have patience, and when he compared it to the game that we both played, that was interesting. That's crazy because he's dead on with that. You have to have patience and wait for that right opportunity, and when it comes, you better be ready.
All right, well, Folks, if you know where he can go fishing, tweet at Terry Mclaurin.
Yeah, let him know. And I think I need to start fishing because practice is something I definitely need to start working on. But Julian Santana, are you ready to play game? It's game time.
Okay.
All right, we're going to test you guys and see how well you guys know these players on a personal level. So I'm going to ask you a question. You guys get to pick out of anyone on the team who you think it is. If you're at home, play along with us, tweet at us, let us know who you guys think it is. So we're going to get things started with, which player likes to hunt?
I would say it's Matt Ioannidis, Brandon Sheriff, and maybe Wes Martin. It's those linemen are my guesses. I don't know if it's just one, but I think they all like to go hunting together.
Definitely at least 2 or 3 of the offensive linemen.
Pick one.
Sheriff would be the first guy that come to mind.
Well, that's right. Brandon Sheriff is the one that loves to hunt. He also is a fan of Busch Light, so if you like that, good for you. That's something that we drink sometimes. But moving on, which player did gymnastics from pre-K until middle school?
I say Antonio Gandy-Golden.
Yeah, I wouldn't know it, but just knowing his abilities and some of the things that I heard that he was an acrobat coming out of college, how some of the acrobatic catches that he had also, he would be the guy.
Serves him well then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's completely right. His mom got him started when he was just 4 years old. He was able to do a backflip, I want to say by the time he was 7 years old, which is crazy. Moving on, who is the singer on the team?
I'm going to say Chase Young. I think he likes to sing.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was an opera singer at one point. Oh, no. That was in Baltimore. Never mind. I'm going to say Chase Young.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. So I'm going with Julie's picks.
Yes, Chase Young is right. After he was actually drafted, I'm pretty sure he did sing a song on air. So maybe we'll have to get him on here and sing a song for us sometime.
I promise you I didn't cheat on this.
No.
All right, is there another one?
One last one. Who road tripped all the way from California to Ashburn?
You know, I remember hearing a player that did this, especially because of COVID. They didn't want to fly, and so they did the road trip, but I don't remember who it was. I think it was one of the younger guys, though.
You're going to have to let me know, Logs, because I don't know.
All right, well, it is one of the rookies, it's Keith Ishmael. So he traveled during COVID all the way to Ashburn, and that is a long drive. I don't know if I would be able to sit through a car that long.
Yeah, fair enough. I had to drive from Florida. Well, I didn't personally drive, but I was driven from Florida back up. I'll just be real about that. I don't like driving. I'm a good passenger.
Yeah, put me on a flight 2 hours and I'm somewhere.
During COVID, though, you couldn't fly. You had to get in the car and go.
Do what you had to do.
Logan, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining, keeping us up to date on what is trending and testing our knowledge. I love these games are kind of fun. I failed yesterday with Kyle Stackpole, but I think I nailed this one. Thanks, Logan.
Thanks, Julie.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to be telling you what is going on today here at camp as the rain is coming down. The guys are in the bubble. The helmets are on. Who's going to be talking later for you to tune in.
A moment of joy, a source of inspiration, an act of kindness, an old friend, a new beginning, some welcome relief, or a cause for celebration. What's inside? Possibilities. What we deliver by delivering.
This summer, get back in the driver's seat. Your Honda dealer is open and ready to get you into a new Honda today. Like the versatile HR-V or the fun-to-drive CR-V. Visit the Honda Summer Clearance Event and get a great deal from Honda, KBB.com's 2020 Best Value Brand. Get a great deal on the CR-V at the Honda Summer Clearance Event today.
In our wonderful world of COVID, all player availability is through Zoom. That's how it goes these days. Media would be out here today, but because the team is in the bubble, they cannot be. As soon as they're on the field, 10 media pool members will be able to come. Talking today at 11:15 is Montez Sweat. Terry Mclaurin will be at 12:30. Excited to hear from both of them. And then, folks, you're going to want to come back for happy hour at 2:30 because I'm chatting with Chase Young. You want to stick around for that interview?
Yes, finally I'll get an invite.
All right. You're welcome any day. I told you. You're part of the team. You're one of my guys, you know?
Since you
You go anytime you want. All right.
so.
Chase Young, 2:30 for our virtual happy hour presented by Bud Light Seltzer. Join us for that. Thanks for being here for Washington Football Live. We're here every morning at 9 a.m. throughout the week. We'll see you again tomorrow.